This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana.
Good morning this morning. Welcome to 96.9 FM Guardian Radio. It is Monday, the 31st of May, 2021, and you are on the clock with Erin Greene. On the clock, we engage organizations, institutions, social and cultural leaders, and ordinary people to better understand the impact of public policy, private sector development, and emerging social and consumer trends. On the clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. Today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. And before we even get into the show, I have a brief but important message for you from the Department of Inland Revenue. Save on your real property tax. Bahamian property owners can now take advantage of waivers on their real property tax in one of two ways. One, bring your account to zero. Two, get a payment plan. Foreigners can receive a 100% waiver on surcharge. Offer ends May 31st, 2021. That is today. For further information, email rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs or call 242-225-5778. That number is toll-free. I'm going to repeat that PSA at the end of the show because today is the last day. So I wouldn't be upset if you just catch yourself and realize you guys tune out of my show because you guys save your Grammy property, right? Take advantage of the program. And I tell you what, I have interacted with a large number of people who have heard the messages, are very interested, and are thankful that the Department of Inland Revenue is providing this service for them. So thank you very much. It is Monday the 31st. It is the last day of May, and I am as excited to close out the month of May as I was to open up my birthday month. Yeah, man, May is a good month. We got mangoes and tamarind and snow apple and dilly and star fruit and passion fruit. Did I say tamarind? And tamarind, because I had all kind. I had sweet, I had half sweet, I had swelly, and then I had them tamarind you could season fish with. I need y'all Bahamians to know, you don't need to pay $2.50 and take out a small mortgage to buy enough lime to season your fish and make lemonade. When you ain't got no lime, you could always use sour tamarind to season your fish. Look at that, look at that. Listen, that song Jerusalema, I had to play that today. I need all of y'all to know this. We're all in the midst of an energy crisis. I'm not talking about you just yet, BPL, but I will be talking about you soon. We're all in the midst of an energy crisis. We are all, right, running low on resources and expected to push out more than it is, more than we have in the stores. We're all trying to figure out how to run this engine with limited resources. But I need you all to know this. Every one of us, inside of us, we have a power generating machine. It's called your brain. All you have to do is start thinking happy thoughts to charge up. That's right, to charge up that engine. right? Like, I can be honest with you. My guest today in studio is Mr. Darwin Miguel Thompson. How you doing? What I'm good, thank you. What Darwin doesn't know is I have a nephew in the States, and my nephew could be Darwin, little brother. So every time I see Darwin, I have to smile because it's like I with family. And that's my little engine. Darwin don't know it. Every time I feeling a little down, I may hit him up. I may even go to his Facebook page and just look at his picture. Because he remind me of my little nephew. That's a quick way to generate a little smile and a little energy. So you see that song, Jerusalem? Sometimes you just need a little bit of music to kickstart that energy generating machine. You just need a little bit of imagination to kickstart that machine. I want all of y'all to know you got that capacity to do that within you. Some of us already know that. But more importantly, did you know you have the capacity to turn on that engine in other people, especially young people? It's very important because we in this time now where people are drained of their energy. And this is legitimate, right? Ain't nobody, oh, you're lazy, you ain't using your resources properly, you have too much expectations. No, we understand where we are right now. So it's important to help people understand they too have the power to change their life in a moment. It could be a song. It could be a poem. It could be remembering an experience you had one time. But let me tell you why it's always important for me to remember that I have the power to change not just how I feel, but the circumstances of my life in any moment. Because this morning on the way to work, unfortunately, I had to drive myself. And I don't want you all to think I'm some kind of big shot with a driver, like with a chauffeur, because it ain't like that. In fact, I be under heavy manners, and I am not allowed to drive myself, right? So today, I had to drive myself to work. And I'm going to be honest with you. The people who want me to talk about traffic didn't even let me get out onto Johnson Road before they send a message that say, talk about this, please. And so we can talk about traffic for a minute, right? See, because I turned on my engine. I'm going to turn that negative energy into positive energy. So I want to say good morning to the gentleman driving AH9553. That's a beautiful blue Chevy. When I say beautiful, I mean, I think the bank thinks it's beautiful. I'm sure you're still making payments on it. But here's why this particular moment is important. It's not that I didn't know that this driver was going to force his way into the westbound lane from the time we were in front of Government House, you know. Yeah, in fact, I knew while we were at the red light at the Kirk that this person was going to attempt to force their way into the westbound lane, right? It was obvious, right? The way that they veered their car towards the line, started inching over, despite the fact that it was obvious that nobody was suspending their right of way to let the person in.
Right.
As we approached the light to turn onto Cumberland Street, they refused to straighten up their wheel and maintain their eastbound lane. In fact, what they decided to do was they decided to force their way into the leftbound lane.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of y'all are saying, but that ain't, I mean, is that actually a problem, Erin? And I'm going to say, first of all, a lot of us don't understand what the word force means. Mm-hmm. Second of all, a lot of us don't understand why they put turn signals on the car. Third of all, and most importantly, this gentleman driver, and I mean, when I say gentleman, I don't mean kind, polite sir, like some of us like to pretend. But I mean, this man who's driving the car decided to force his way in front of me at the exact spot where the traffic fatality occurred at the top of the year. At the exact spot. And I want to say to that gentleman this morning, luckily for you, I love my life. I have things to do with it. I want to become old and miserable and terrorize young children with stale jokes and overheated candy out of my place, and chocolate out my place.
You love that.
What? I'm going to cut a whole album called It's Time to Pee and Go to Bed. I intend on enjoying my old age, sir. Right? So what I do is I turn on my little energy generating machine. And I turn that negative energy that that gentleman decided to share with the entire world this morning. I'm going to turn it into a joke. Dear sir, it ain't really that funny. But thank you for providing me with this excellent material to talk about how we collectively are not taking this task, this experience of running a country seriously. See, I like to come on the radio and identify and critique issues and problems arising in governance. I like to talk about how the political culture interferes with the state's ability to deliver on its obligations and promises. But sometimes it's important to point out that we are our own biggest problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I want to point this out. I ain't really going to talk your business on the radio like that, you know. Like I was contemplating reminding police car 218 that despite the fact that everybody does it, you should not turn right at the stop, turn left at the stop sign without stopping at Nassau Street. Although Nassau Street has become a monument, right? The police station has become a monument for people that ignore traffic controls. Right. Even you shouldn't do it, officer. See, it's up to us. We blame the government all we want. It's up to us to invest our money and our resources into creating the mechanisms and organizations necessary to ensure good governance. Mechanisms to provide oversight for state agencies and procedures and processes. We have an entire judiciary. In fact, we may have the largest judiciary per capita in the entire solar system. And yet we have this extreme dearth of engagement. Dearth mean like lack. But it mean like tremendous lack. It's like you had 100 mangoes on your tree, and when you come out, there's only 4. That's a dearth. That's a problem, right? Like we have this lack of engagement from the judiciary and the legal community. From those at the top pillars of society who wear the status of their position in the hierarchy, like a badge, but supposedly refuse to engage the public. Lots of people go to Rotary meetings. They go to these sort of, high status social organizations. The state uses those mechanisms to convey information. Are the people in those bodies passing that information down? Are they sharing it with the general public? Do you recognize that the government is using your mechanism as a gap, like as a stopway? They expect you then to share the information with your constituencies and the wider public? Why are we treating this information like the government delivered it to us for our benefit and purpose only? There are all kinds of issues I want to touch on in the paper today. Today is a what's in the news day. Yes. Atlantis removing free COVID-19 testing for staff. Mobile wallet provider expands offerings for social assistance recipients. An appeal to the UN. Abaco Shantytown residents seek help against demolitions. UN detention center visit constructive. Monitoring vaccine adverse reaction reports.
COVID vaccines and our children.
Right. Election budget delays, inevitable pain. Listen, all of these issues, every story that I just mentioned just now, right? The central issues will begin to be solved if we realize that we, as the wider public, should be organizing ourselves in a way, not to compete or combat the tyranny of governance or politicians, but to engage the process of governance, to strengthen and fortify it, to create the civil society mechanisms necessary for government to function optimally. I know some of y'all think I just get on the radio and complain and complain. That's what the joke does. The joke sort of hides the critique, right? It ain't complaining. It's engaging the subject,
Right.
thrashing out the issues so people could see them and acknowledge them. And then the people can devise a way forward. But that's the next step, people. We could talk. Now we got to organize, and we have to strategize. I see I got a couple of texts here, Darwin. We get into these texts.
Sure.
A couple minutes ago, after leaving get entrance, I'm not sure what get means, seeing some gas off. Okay, I am having difficulty reading this text, but it appears as if there was somebody's witnessing an accident or near accident where someone almost got sandwiched between two vehicles. It's happening regularly.
Oh yeah, this morning I nearly had 2 accidents with persons that don't turn on signals, but just randomly slam on brakes and immediately take their turn. But not even immediately so that they turn through the corner quickly, but that they just nice and slowly cruise through the corner after slamming on brakes to turn.
You know, this one is sort of simple, you know.
Yeah.
It is about what's going on in our minds while we're
Right.
driving our cars. For many people, a car is a symbol of power.
Right.
But in many ways, right? Like, because when I'm in my car, I can do what I want.
Feel empowered. Yeah.
Right? Feel empowered, right?
Yeah.
I could move myself. And see, so I talk a lot about the citizens' ability to navigate the world,
Right.
right? People get in their car, they feel powerful because they feel like they could go wherever
However they feel.
they want.
So, yeah.
Because in the rest of their lives, they don't feel that way.
And it's funny because it wasn't the only issue like that. I
Yeah.
turned a blind corner and there's this guy in a white Nissan Adva stopped right in the road.
Yeah.
And I essentially have about 2 seconds to react. Is it that I'm going to stop or am I going to go around? So I go around, and as I'm going to go around, he swings the door.
Yeah. In the middle of the road, right?
Right there.
There's a lack of spatial awareness. Did you not expect that somebody would be coming on the road
Right.
shortly, like soon?
Like a main thoroughfare, right?
Right.
Come on.
I watched somebody reverse on the main road because
Yeah.
they didn't want to go around.
Yeah.
You know, like they didn't want to keep driving, find a roundabout, come back around to make the turn. They decided they were going to reverse on the main road.
Yeah.
And then when I blew my horn at them, they thought I was being disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? They thought I was just being like, why would you do that on the road? I just wanted to hail them. I just wanted to say, hey, I hadn't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
Just hail them. They cut their eye at me, they
Yeah,
screw up my
yeah.
face, and they almost caused me wish the police was coming on the scene.
Yeah.
But I didn't wish that because I'm not sure if the police realized that also is a traffic offense.
Oh, if it inconveniences the police, you in problems. But if it doesn't, it's a free fall.
Yeah.
I've actually seen this. People would do something and then do the same thing in the front of a policeman a few blocks down, and that policeman saw them do it to another person, but only when it happens to them now they
Right.
want to go ahead and flick the lights.
In fact, last week as I was leaving the station, I was at the Blue Hill, and where Poinciana turns into Wolf Road. Poinciana
Right.
Drive turns into Wolf Road, Blue Hill, right? I was
Yeah.
right there. We watched 4 cars run the red light across Wolf, right, from Blue Hill, going straight up.
Yeah, and that's dangerous.
And as we came over the light, I wasn't driving. I looked at the police car to figure out what was going on inside it. The officer was on his phone.
Texting? Yeah, man.
I don't know if he was texting. I could be honest with you. We don't know if he was texting.
Well, I assume if you're on your phone, you're texting. And when I say texting can be searching Facebook. It could be calling someone, talking, because texting as a whole accounts for what you do in your cell phone. you shouldn't have this anywhere near your hands.
Yeah. So I got another one here. Miss Green, I almost got into a head-on collision this morning on Soldier Road because of a lady coming out and turning left on red when my light was green. I had to slam brakes so we wouldn't hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been an increase in that too.
Mm-hmm.
So you heard that you could turn left on red,
Right.
but you didn't hear the rest of the message that said that doesn't give you the
Give
right of way.
Right. Oh,
You-
yeah.
You're still required to stop at the red light. You're then required to ensure that the way is clear,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, if it is clear, you could go.
And clear doesn't mean there's a car 30 feet down. He driving slow enough, I could go. It means you give way to that person coming, no
Right.
matter what the case is.
You just stop.
Exactly.
Anyway, I find that the people at the Shirley and Mackey Street intersection, the people who use that,
They have their own thing going
See,
on.
they surpassed that. The left on red from Mackey onto Shirley westbound
Right.
is dangerous enough
Yes.
because people assume that the traffic that's coming from the bridge to turn westbound will only use one lane,
Right.
although both lanes are open to them.
Exactly.
And so what you find is that cars are turning left on red from Mackey
Yeah.
and forcing the cars that actually have the right of way
To take the right lane.
to stop,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I've seen it.
And then I think to myself, where is this place where people are just giving away cars?
Mm-hmm.
Where could I go? Where could I go to sleep confidently knowing that if I mash up my car tomorrow,
Right.
I could go and just pick up another car for 50 cents? Where is this
Exactly.
place? What type of lives are you all living?
Erin, it's so bad. You remember the accident I got in on Shirley Street? People don't understand, right? That accident was the exact same scenario. Somebody deciding that, hey, I'm going to turn left on red. And then the person in that left lane that they were going to turn into having to avoid them. Now they're in the problem. Their insurance has to fork out $6,000. For what? Because somebody decided to run a red light. Now the young man who drove very exceptionally well, in fact, to avoid 5 or 6 different cars hitting in one accident, now has to come and fix somebody else's car that he was not even the cause to.
Yeah,
It's completely unfair.
it is
Completely.
absolutely unfair, right?
Completely unfair.
But what we do is we create, as citizens, we identify the things that need to be fixed, and we create mechanisms to fix them. So, for instance, you may not have known, but I am currently auditioning for the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division. All I need to know is where is the application form to become a traffic officer. And I know they have vacancies. I know they have vacancies because nobody, I'm going to correct myself. Let me stand on this point. Because there is a team at the Road Traffic Department that is committed to improving road and traffic safety.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
When they are able to, like when I reach out to them and they are able to, because they're not assigned somewhere else,
Right.
they come on the show.
Yeah.
So let me rephrase that. Let me be honest and be fair. There seems to be a problem in the police force, and an unusually large number of officers don't seem to be aware that they too are traffic officers.
You know what, I also think it's a culture issue within the actual police force because honestly, there are amazing officers in the police force. That officer that dealt with that accident, that dude was on the scene quickly, and as soon as he got on the scene, he got all the pictures, got everything. You guys can move your cars. Let's get to the side. Let's talk about what happened.
And it's not just like older cops versus younger cops,
Right.
you know. About a decade ago, somebody broke into my aunt's house and stole both her and my deceased uncle's wedding bands, right?
Wow, yeah,
And one of the young officers who was working the case, he would come and check on my auntie every week,
Wow. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He would come and make sure, hey, mom, how you
Right,
doing?
right.
Like religiously, right?
People that care, they care, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are being fair.
Right.
We have a cultural problem, right? Where either officers are made to feel that this is a waste of their time, or made to feel that they should prioritize other issues over this, or what may be far worse, is their mental health and psychological health may be impacted to the point where they have to decide what to prioritize every day. And I think they use the examples of I'll use the example of spoon theory, right? People with chronic illness can only take on a certain number of tasks a day.
Exactly.
And so maybe they say, look, today I think I could take on 5 spoons. But once I've used all 5 of those spoons,
Man, nothing else.
I have nothing left.
Exactly.
Right? And I think most of our officers are living like that.
Right. I think they deserve so much more credit, man. Because, again, even just one officer, about 4 or 5 police cars passed, including inspectors, including CDU, that stopped and said, are you guys okay? You already got an officer. I'm going to radio them anyway. Even a guy an officer in his own car heading to work, stops in his own car with his nice brown on, said, everything okay? Y'all all right? Y'all good? Man, listen to me. This shows that these men and women in the police force are more than ready to take on the issues in this country as it relates to the law and following the law.
Yeah.
But I think that they have a little bit more to deal with than just those issues. They have to deal with work issues, people who, so much other problems. And then to compound that issue, they make less than the average hotel worker when they first start in the force.
Yeah.
But they do 10 times more.
Absolutely. And the psychosocial services that they need access to, right?
Yes.
For instance, we had an unfortunate tragedy in my neighborhood, the wider community recently, right? Where we had a suspected suicide. And I know that the officers that came to that scene and I don't know anything about the scene.
Yeah,
it's just a suicide, right?
Yeah,
It's just a death.
Right.
It's a dead body.
Right.
These officers require access to services. And the question is, are they getting it? Are they getting it? Or are they getting what a lot of young people in this town get, which is you got to go to church. You got to find a good church. You got to learn how to pray.
Gotta pray.
You gotta
pray to God.
Right?
Yeah,
you have God as your rod.
Which we ain't knocking it, but come on.
People, people need more than that.
Right.
I've got a text here, and Arlington, I need your help with this text. Good morning, Erin. Around February or March or April, I heard a Ministry of Environmental Health ad on the show. Can you provide me with a number for that ad? The Arlington, after the show, maybe we could try look for that ad for the texter because it's about the removal of dilapidated cars. And that's a good thing. Another text here, morning. The number 1 traffic issue that needs solving is those whom take the outer lane at the roundabout and go past the first 2 exits. To exit at the third.
My goodness.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. Listen, I'm not even sure if we should be allowed to have roundabouts. And it's not that they're difficult,
Right.
Roundabouts may be the most effective thing,
Very.
And we could possibly replace red lights and stop signs with roundabouts,
If we could manage them.
Right, if people would acknowledge how you're supposed to use them.
Right.
Did you know you're supposed to use your turn signal
In a
to
roundabout.
indicate which exit you using?
I believe people are think I'm crazy when I do that.
They do. In fact, you border on the point where possibly you creating a bigger issue by
Using it.
confusing people.
Oh, yeah.
And I use my hand signals when I'm driving, as well as my car the lights working.
Yes.
I'm sure I confuse.
I get excited when I see people using their hand signals, man.
I telling you.
Listen, I get excited. I say, baby, you see that? I tell my wife, you see that? That man is a man of class. I've seen mostly older gentlemen in their trucks. That's the only people I've seen so far. It's good to know that people actually do this.
Right. And I want to say to Bahamians, do it, right? Because when I find an application for road traffic and I become a traffic officer, I ticketing you for the pettiest things. And if you're using your hand signal,
You straight.
and it turns out that one of your lights is broken, right? And it ain't
Yeah.
working, your brakes ain't working, but you using your hand signal,
You
I can
could
give
avoid
you a
that
blind.
250. You avoid that 250 payment.
Yes. Boy, look here. If I wasn't driving myself, I
Yeah.
would drive straight to road traffic for application form to be a police. I locking y'all up for everything. Erin, okay, another text here, Darwin. Erin,
Yeah.
F&M only pass laws to say they pass it. Dogs are running kids and adults daily, throwing over bins. Senior police own dogs, and they are not secured.
I understand. I
Okay,
understand.
so let's talk about this. It ain't just let's talk about this. It ain't just the F&M.
Yeah.
We have a culture, a political culture that intends to see things done
Right.
without concerning themselves about how it's done
Right.
and the sustainability of it. Both the PLP and the F&M do it. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say this. I bet you the next party that gets elected to governance, even if it's a coalition, they're going to do the same thing.
'Cause
Because
a
it's the
culture.
political
It's
culture.
a culture. I read this book, Aaron. Sorry, it's called
Yeah.
The Power of Habit.
Uh-huh.
It was given to me by a very good friend of mine. And it's called The Power of Habit: Why We Do What We Do in Business and in Life.
Uh-huh.
And I kid you not, if everybody were to read that book, you'd be able to see where it is in our country that the issues start, where it is that these cultural and societal problems begin, and how they affect so many more people than we believe it does.
Yeah. Right.
Because with that one accident, that young man now has to find a way to pay, right? But not only that, the issue that he now has with having to pay is that his insurance now has to get involved.
Oh, yeah.
And it trickles down and it continues on.
Let's talk
right?
about culture and habit right there. His
Yeah.
insurance, hold on. Tell that young man, your insurance company shouldn't go to bed
Right.
until that
That's
other
sorted
driver
out.
has been identified and it's been sorted out. You see, we develop these cultures, right, and these habits.
Right.
Would you believe I had a family member who was in a 3-car accident? I think I mentioned it on the show before, right? And she was
Yeah.
the last car to be hit.
Yeah.
She maintained sufficient distance between her and the car in front of her that
Right.
she wasn't pushed into the
Another
car,
yes.
giving her liability to repair that car.
Right.
The police officer that came to the scene told her, Miss Cheapers, she fixed her car herself because ain't nobody responsible for that. Right? How could a police officer,
Tell somebody that.
but I
Right.
tell you
right.
why, we talk about habit and culture,
Culture.
right?
Exactly.
Because a culture is developed in the force where police officers are not required to know the laws, to be clear on it,
Exactly.
right? And that's not, she's not the only person that's had that experience in the last several years.
Right. Right.
Right? When you talk about habit and culture,
Yeah.
things are falling apart. This thing about senior police officers owning dogs and they are not secured. There are a lot of things it seems that senior police officers get away with in this town. I don't want any senior police officers to come and see me. I mean, if you want to come see my mango tree, come see it and take a couple mangoes, but don't come see me. And we know this, though. This is evidenced by the development of the security industry in this country.
Right.
Because I'm certain a number of security firms were formed by former senior police officers. But you know what's particular about a lot of these security firms? They are not treating their security officers decently, according to the law.
Exactly.
They're being made to work 12-hour days. In many instances, they are treated like uniform forces, except the part where you get to pay and perks, wages, and benefits, and insurance. They don't get treated like that. You know? Anyway, I don't even know anything about senior police officers, Darwin. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Gotta let that one go.
Yeah, we'll let that one go. Another text here. Drivers, be careful when exiting Park Gate onto Village Road. It is a blind corner, and if you pull off as soon as the light turns green, you could be hit by drivers running the red light on all 3 sides of the intersection. I mean, it's almost as if we have so much contempt and disrespect for the people that live on Kemp Road, that Park Gate Road connects to, right? In that
Right.
Kemp Road area, that we don't care what we do at
Oh, yeah.
that light.
Oh, and the people that cut through the gas station on the light right at Camp Road and Park Gate, too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's,
I almost watched a child get hit like that before.
yeah.
And the 5 or 6 gentlemen in the car, I got scared after I put my window. I said, "What the hell you doing, man?" can't listen to me the way those dudes is ready to run up on me.
Yeah, yeah. But I can be honest with you, you have never been threatened or bullied on the
Yeah,
road
yeah.
until a Grammy or a mom calls your name and cusses at you. I want to say good morning to that mom from 3 years ago. Good morning. Anyway, Arlington, I see we got a caller on the line. Let's go to that caller. Caller, you're on the clock.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is about the road traffic show, right?
Yes, we're talking about road traffic and traffic behavior and driving culture.
Yeah, I was involved in an accident. That was in February.
Yeah.
And it was so strange. I was driving on Palm Tree Avenue, and the lady, both of us stopped at a light between Market Street and Palm Tree Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in the front of me, and I was behind. And instead of her to go forward, she put the car in reverse and slammed my car. That happened in February. You get the report sometimes this month.
Uh-huh.
I went to the insurance, and then to make sure that my car gets fixed. Apparently, the car, she didn't have no license. The car didn't have no insurance. And the car wasn't licensed enough. Now, I'm in a hard place to fix my car.
Wow. Yeah. Well, listen, wow. What about the person who owned the car?
The mom owned the car, but the daughter was driving the car. And when the insurance people called the mom, she said she didn't know her car was involved in an accident, which is impossible.
But listen, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to imagine that God bless your heart, you decided not to go after the mother legally. Because
I don't
the
know.
mother has to
I mean,
report the car stolen or sort of be liable with the person who was driving it.
See, because my insurance could have fixed my car because I have comprehensive insurance, but
Yeah.
it don't make no sense. I'm going to get charged once. Then the following year, my insurance, my premium will go up.
Yep.
So it don't make no sense for my insurance to fix the car, so I'm going to have to take them to court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And it's unfortunate, you know, and people want to look at you like, why, how you would be so mean. But what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's not mean. It's just like driving dirty. How can you have a car and you put the car in reverse? Apparently, there was an argument between her and the boyfriend. I mean, they hit my car so hard, my radiator burst, my fender get mashed up, my hood get mashed up. I mean,
Yes, sir. You know what? That happened to me during the road works. We were by Central Bank, the hill by Central Bank to come up to go towards the post office. And this man was sitting in the back seat, and the woman in the car was he get roused so bad, and she was the one who reversed and hit the car. You know, it wasn't even like he hit the car. He was getting roused so bad, I tell them go. I was scared for him.
And the thing is, the insurance lady, they called them, and then they said, okay, I can have their number. But from last week, I called him twice. I sent the copy of the estimate, the two estimate they asked for. I sent it. And when she asked me back, she asked me like with attitude, like, just like she angry at me for hitting my car.
Right. But
and I was cool. I gave them time, you know, to see if they could do something. But apparently, I don't know. I don't know.
But listen, I just say we know what's going on in her head, right? In her head, she is angry. She angry at the daughter. She angry at the circumstances, and she angry at you. She angry at you because you seem to have so much sense. Why you can't just take this hit and let them live? Because if she have to take the hit, she could die.
That happened to us before. We take a hit to fix the car. For me to get the car from the dealership, I had to pay $500. I mean, which don't make no sense.
Yep.
And then the following year, my premium went up the roof.
No, you absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right. I am only sort of using a little humor to explore it, but you're absolutely right.
Happened to me too.
And there's nothing wrong about what you said.
Exactly.
And people need to understand that's why you need to make the commitment to get the insurance before you get behind the wheel. Anyway, I hear that break music. It's a good time to pause. Thank you, Arlington. Before we close out the show, we're going to go to this break, so stay tuned to 96.9 FM. We'll be right back.
In life, there are always challenges. Today, we find ourselves having to be more self-sufficient, socially aware, and technically savvy. At J.S. Johnson, we are committed to our customers by providing cost-effective insurance solutions. No matter what your insurance needs, we will always be here for you. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Have an outstanding real property tax bill? Take advantage of our Real Property Tax Forgiveness Program. Bring your account to zero and receive a 50% discount on your outstanding tax and surcharge past 180 days. Or get a payment plan. Make a 25% deposit on your outstanding tax, receive a 100% waiver on the surcharge, and pay the difference within 36 months, interest-free. Contact the Department of Inland Revenue at 225-5778 or email us at rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs. Offer ends May 31st.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good morning and welcome back to 96.9 FM Guardian Radio. You are on the clock with Erin Greene and my special guest co-host, Mr. Darwin Thompson. Good morning, Darwin.
Morning, everybody.
Sorry it took me so long to get to that break, people. But now that we're back on the show, let me remind you, today is the last day to take advantage of the Department of Inland Revenue's plan for real property tax. Bahamian property owners can now take advantage of waivers on their real property tax in one of two ways. One, bring your account to zero. Two, get a payment plan. Foreigners can receive a 100% waiver on surcharge. Offer ends May 31st, 2021. For further information, email rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs or call 242-225-5778. That is a toll-free number. My goodness, we got plenty texts here, plenty texts here. In fact, tomorrow we're going to open up the month talking about human rights implications involved in some of the pressing issues facing the country right now. As we talk about traffic, right, there's also a human rights element in this. We all have the right to a life free of violence, right? We all have the right to go about our business with the understanding that people will do what they are expected to do according to law. Getting a little feedback there, sorry about that. And so when I get on the road, pull this one from me. When I get on the road and I realize that people are doing things like running red lights and stop signs, I get stressed, and people get stressed, and we're wearing the stress in our bodies. It is unfair to us. Having a little problem. We're going to sort that feedback out in a moment. I've got another text here. Lady Green, in the name of Jesus, please ask your friends at traffic to station a bike cop at the junction of Sumilo Butler Highway in Carmichael. It's madness what Africans do at this light daily. I see no police at this light in the morning. At the junction of Sumilo and Carmichael.
Oh,
Yeah. I agree.
That T-junction light, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I'm sure people are just ignoring the traffic controls and bullying their way through the intersection and blocking it up. You'd be surprised. I am surprised that the police are not using this as an opportunity to generate income, especially after the pilot exercise conducted by a local analytics company that determined that they could collect millions of dollars monthly in fines from one intersection. Another text, good morning. There was a young man who used to drive into a parking lot and make wheelies with an ATV. The security stated that they could say nothing because his mother was an official at the institution. Then he disappeared and I asked what happened to him. He is now a paraplegic after the ATV turned over. Yeah, that's another part of it. First of all, I'm so sad and sorry that accident happened. That's a horrible thing to lose your ability to move yourself, right? Wow. Most of us don't take it seriously because we don't see the impact of it.
Right.
And that's basically it.
Think it can't happen to us.
Yeah, that's basically it. I've got another text here. Ms. Green, we need to ensure that people actually know how to drive. Somehow, there are people who run the red light, cutting corners on the wrong side of the road. I was nearly hit by two cars doing the same foolishness. They literally came into my lane with the whole right lane empty. I guess just running the red light wasn't enough for them. You know what, Texter? Many of these people know how to drive. They just don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. They know what the boundaries are. They just don't care. And we see that across the board. We talk when Darwin called it a cultural thing. We see it across the board. From the very top to the very bottom. People are aware of what their obligations are to other people. They just feel that they could get away with ignoring those obligations.
I wouldn't even talk about government vehicles.
Right. I have a text here. Good morning. Is it 94 FM or 96 FM? I hope I didn't say 94 FM. Oh, my goodness. Ain't nothing wrong with 94 FM, but you are tuned into 96.9 FM Guardian Radio. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Chickchanis, mangoes, tamarind, Warren, Nahaja, Levon, Dwight. Come on. Anyway.
You know what it is.
You know what it is. Don't watch nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with 94.9. They just say us. Good morning, Ms. Greene. Talk about officers taking out the police report out of the system for their family and friends. Dear Texter, we only have 5 minutes on the show, and I can't tell you about my personal experience, about how I almost gone to jail. You could imagine me in jail? Talking about the water is cold, officer, I can't bear it?
That's why you need a dash cam.
Right?
Seriously.
Because somebody decided to, not because they couldn't take it out, right? Somebody decided to switch the drivers in the report. Yeah. I almost got to jail. For real. I was so scared. Good morning. Police not required to know the law, but they are law officers who have the discretion to take life. Police should be the best among us. Learn it like a judge. I agree, Texter.
And Texter, I think the only way they can become the best of us is if we allow them to. And don't create cultural systems that repress all of their creative imagination, their ability to do the things that they want to do.
Or their integrity. Stop asking for a hookup.
Right. Exactly.
And look here, I can show you another thing. Stop driving dating.
Boom. That's the simplest one, right?
Right? Stop driving dirty and then looking at the officer and, oh, don't give me a ticket, don't give me a ticket. Stop driving dirty.
And I commend the government for giving us the ability to not have the license right now, but at least have insurance. At least.
Absolutely. You have to have insurance.
At least.
Get another text here. Good morning. I know in other parts of the world, the people who drive large trailers and heavy equipment are required to do classes. Do we have a system like that over here? A trailer driver almost killed me this morning on Burnett Road. Listen, it turns out that we don't.
Wow. And here I am trying to get in that business.
No, see? But this is it. They're Bahamians. That doesn't mean that we can't start one.
Right.
For the love of God, if you have money and you own a company or you want to do something good with your company, start a school. Connect with a professional school or an industry in the U.S. and start it here. It's not just about protecting lives on the ground, on the roads in the Bahamas. It's also about giving Bahamians and young Bahamians in particular an opportunity to gain some skills that could take them throughout the world and shape the face of our country. Good morning. Just remove politics away from all the government department and we will be a better society. You're absolutely right.
I agree.
Okay, caller, you are the last caller. You're the last caller on the show. You are live. Good morning. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? I lost
Hello.
you. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. I was trying to reach a show.
Yes, sir, you're here.
Pardon?
You're here. You're live.
Okay. Oh, okay. Erin, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, listen, I just wanted to embark upon the fact that I thought it was nice that the government did make a law that you could turn on red, but I don't think any enforcement was done or follow-up after in terms of, because people just reach the corner and they turn left, no matter if the other lane or the other side has the right of way.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing a lot of accidents.
Oh, yeah.
I think the police, especially on their motorbikes, need to be looking out more for that. And then the other point I wanted to make was that the Prince Charles Drive, in terms of having the two lanes going in separate directions, and you have cars that are overtaking on the wrong side to get in on their side, that's causing a big accident. I thought maybe they should have put a a middle median or something to separate the lanes from left and right.
Absolutely. That seems what is necessary at this point.
Yeah, because me and my wife almost died end of last year, around December time.
Yeah.
Because this guy is going 60 miles per hour in my lane and decides he doesn't even want to try to budge.
Yeah. Yeah. It is the most amazing attitudes you will find on the roads with the most belligerent drivers. I got another text here just as we go. It's a corrected text. A couple minutes ago, after seeing some guests off, my husband and I were at the entrance of Bahama where we witnessed a cab driver literally 2 seconds away from sandwiching a tourist between another car in front of her, all because this cab driver was busy arguing about some business, about somebody taking their job.
Cab drivers are terrible.
The driver of the cab needs a serious attitude adjustment because it's cab drivers like them that make us look bad in front of our guests. Buddy, in front of your guests, I can't tell you the last time a cab driver would give me a ride.
Boy, look at it.
Anyway, I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk about traffic this morning. It may seem like a bit of a humdrum, but I tell you what, it's important to lots of people. It's particularly important to me. And I may mention it every morning as we roll into another holiday weekend, where some of us still have not learned how to moderate our alcohol consumption. But if that is not sufficient to remind you to drive safely, look at today's paper and see that the cost of gas is $5.01. Surely that will cause you to moderate yourself on the roads. Drive safely, drive slowly, drive to arrive alive, drive like you love yourself and you respect other people. I want to say even to that guy in the blue Chevy this morning, have a great day, Bahamas. Have a great day and stay tuned to 96.9 FM because Levon Miller and Unleashed is up next.